My Destined 1, Tensura x Arifureta by Void Kane. Ch 32. Rescue. After leaving foreign, the group was heading towards the capital. They needed to deliver a letter that would make their promotion to Gold Adventurers official. Everyone was in the car. Hajime, Yu, Shia and Myu were in the front and Rimuru, Chloe and Sakura were in the backseat. Tio was strapped to the roof while talking perverted things. Yu On-chan. Why is Tio Oni-chan panting on the roof? It's an incurable disease, Myu, don't pay attention. Myu asked innocently and Yu answered bluntly. Papa, why is Oni-san always hugging the Oni-chans? Myu asked Hajime. Hajime had already given up persuading Myu about what she called him, and the Oni-san was Rimuru. When Myu found out that Rimuru was Hajime's brother, she started calling him Oji-san. But he thought that was kind of weird and bribed her with candy to stop it. Hajime tried the same technique, but it didn't work as Myu seemed really determined to call him Papa. The Oni-chans was what Myu called the girls in the group. Yu and Shia tried to compete to see who would be called Mommy, but Myu said she already had a mother and wouldn't call anyone else that. Myu was petting Missy, who was on her lap. Missy was a female cat and was being carried by Chloe, who had made a promise to Shizuku to take care of her. Myu really liked Missy and was always petting her. Hajime was thinking about how to answer Mayu's question. In fact, Rimuru was holding Chloe with his hand on her waist and stroking the hair of Sakura, who was sleeping leaning against him. Before Hajime could answer, Yu spoke up. That's because they love each other. She spoke this and hugged Hajime's arm at her side. Myu was wearing a confused expression, but she looked at Yu and Hajime hugging and spoke. Got it. She spoke excitedly and moved closer to Hajime. Myu tried to hug Hajime's waist. Myu. What are you doing? Myu loves Papa, so Myu will be hugging him too. Myu seemed to have misunderstood. Hajime was about to answer her, but Myu spoke. Doesn't the Papa love Myu too? That blow was too much for Hajime to answer. He had already given up and was going to let Myu stay hugged to him, but at this moment his brother came to the rescue. Myu-chan, why don't you stay hugged in Missy? If you stay hugged in Hajime-kun, no one will hug Missy. Rimuru spoke and Myu looked at Missy, who was alone. I think Rimuru-ni is right. Myu returned to her spot and placed Missy on her lap. Hajime and Yu were impressed with Rimuru's way with children. Wow! Rimuru is really good with kids. Myu really likes him. Yes. She listens to him more than we do. Yu and Shia spoke impressed. Rimuru thought for a while and spoke. Good. It's just that I used to be a teacher. Chloe and her classmates were quite rebellious. They didn't answer my call, didn't obey me, and kept attacking me with flaming swords. Next to that, Myu-chan is super easy to deal with. Chloe turned red remembering when Rimuru became her teacher. In the first training she had said, "Surrender or I'll kill you," because she thought he had been caught in his magic, but Rimuru had easily shaken off his attack. The girls looked at Chloe as if to say, "Little girl taken." This made her redder. Well, what can I say? We were really rebellious, but that was 2,000 years ago. For me it wasn't that long ago. Chloe couldn't stand her shame and hid herself in Rimuru's chest. Everyone looked at her with kind smiles. Yu returned to Hajime's arm and Shia was trying to hold onto Hajime as well. Rimuru noticed something strange. Chloe's waist was strangely soft. Rimuru-san. Chloe looked embarrassed about something. Rimuru looked over and realized that his hand was on Chloe's butt. That must have happened accidentally while they were talking. He quickly removed his embarrassed hand and apologized softly. Sorry, no need to worry. Rimuru-san is my fiancé after all. Chloe said this, pushed her hand back and Rimuru turned red. This was one of the 45 seduction techniques created by Chloe and Sakura. Rimuru was embarrassed, but he enjoyed the feeling in his hand. He was thinking that Chloe really was more daring since they did it together, but he didn't think that was a bad thing. They traveled a while longer and arrived in the capital of the Haihiri Kingdom. Rimuru woke Sakura up and she asked. Are we there yet? She asked sleepily. Yes. Sakura-chan is really a sleeper. Chloe joked and Sakura smiled. She stood up and the group entered the city. Everyone was heading towards the guild when Chloe called out. Rimuru-san. Yes? I was thinking of looking for a new home for Missy. It would be bad if she went back to living on the streets. Okay. I think that's a good idea. Missy-chan is leaving us? Myu asked with a sad expression. Chloe moved closer and stroked her head. Myu-chan. Our travels are dangerous. We can't take her. We can only look for a good home for her, do you understand? Yes. I understand, Chloe-on-chan. Myu spoke determinedly, and Chloe picked her up. Guys. What do you think about me taking Myu-chan along? The Adventurers Guild is not a place for children. That was true. There were a lot of scary mercenaries there, and several of them might pick a fight with the group because of the beautiful girls. This would certainly be a bad environment for Myu. Myu would also be safe with Chloe, who was super powerful. Everyone agreed and Chloe went with Myu to look for a new home for Missy. The group walked some more and Hajime stood looking at the entrance to the Orcus dungeon. Hajime? Hajime-kun? Yu and Rimuru asked after him. Hajime turned around and spoke. I just feel a little nostalgic. He spoke, and at this moment Tio approached. Gushin-sama. I know you don't care about your classmates anymore, but you really don't have anyone? Yes. There is someone. However, I don't know if I want to meet that person currently. Hajime thought that meeting Kaori might come as a shock to her. Hajime didn't care what others thought of him, but with Kaori it was different. He didn't know what her reaction would be, nor how he would feel if she labeled him as a monster or something. Yu held Hajime's hand. Hajime, it's going to be okay. He smiled at her and she smiled back and a pink atmosphere formed around her. Shia was a little irritated by the pink atmosphere that had formed around her and she made a big blurt. She talked about how easy it was for Yu to create an atmosphere with Hajime and how she wished she could do that someday too, and somehow ended up insulting Tio in the end. Ha ha. To insult this one so casually. Ha ha. Tio spoke panting. Shia-chan really needed to vent. Rimuru spoke and approached Hajime. Hajime-kun, we'll be in town for a while. Then you'll have plenty of time to think about whether you want to talk to her. How about we continue on our way? Hajime agreed and the group went to the guild. When they entered the guild it was exactly as predicted. Several crude-looking mercenaries stared at them with envious looks. But Hajime threw pressure, and they looked away in fear. Hajime walked towards the receptionist. I have a letter for the director. He handed it over and the receptionist read it. When she saw the letter her eyes widened. Gold. Several curious looks were drawn to the group when the receptionist spoke. Hajime agreed and asked her to hand over the letter. The door to the room opened abruptly, leading everyone to look toward it. There stood a young black-haired Japanese man shouting something about a demon. Endo. Hajime and Rimuru spoke in confusion. Kosuke heard the voices and looked around. He stopped his gaze at Rimuru. Rimuru. He was surprised to see him and gave a cheerful shout. Rimuru was also surprised to see him here. That's because the hero group was supposed to be training in the dungeon at the moment. Hajime was also confused and asked. What are you doing here? Huh? That voice. It's Nagumo. Where is he? Rimuru. Kosuke looked around as if he had lost his glasses. Rimuru put his hand on his forehead and pointed at Hajime. He's over there, Endo. Huh? He. Kosuke was dumbfounded by the person Rimuru pointed to as Hajime. This person had nothing to do with the Hajime that Endo knew. In fact, the look on this person's face startled Endo and he stopped talking. How ironic. The guy with the world's thinnest shadow doesn't understand me. Hey, who's that, huh? The supermarket door opened 1 of 3 times. So it didn't open twice? As expected of you. I have no way of denying that. Are you really Nagumo? You look different. Endo recognized him by his voice and also because he knew about his thin shadow. Hajime was also not at all surprised to hear Endo talk about supermarket, which was something unknown in this world. Yes. I crawled out of the abyss on my own strength, so obviously I've changed. Wait, so you guys have enough strength to survive the dungeon? Yes. That's right. Hajime and Rimuru agreed. Endo seemed to have been relieved by something and spoke desperately. Then you guys need to help us. There are demons in the labyrinth. Captain Meld was probably killed and Kuki was also defeated. Hajime and Rimuru were surprised. From what they had heard, the demons were not that powerful. By CL's calculations, only the Lord Demon could take on the heroes group, but even they would have little chance of winning. Could you guys continue this conversation in my living room? A voice came from behind Rimuru. There was a man there who matched the description Ilwa had given them. The head of the lore guild. They accepted and entered the room. Hajime and Rimuru sat on the couch they had and the others stood. The guild leader and Kosuke sat on a couch facing them. Kasukue then told about the events in the dungeon. The demons Rimuru was thoughtful and Hajime muttered as he listened to the story. Lore, who was silent until now, spoke. Very well. Rimuru and Hajime. I read the letter and I can tell that you guys are pretty violent. Defeating an army of 60,000 is no joke. Lore commented and Kosuke was shocked at his words. He couldn't even imagine such an army, let alone defeat it. There was also the fact that Hajime the incompetent helped kill them. Well, things just happened. Yes, it was an army of 60,000. Hajime and Rimuru confirmed. Rimuru even emphasized the part that it was only 60,000 so as not to arouse suspicion. Okay. About the letter, you will be accepted as gold adventurers. From your power I have no reason to deny it. Besides, I have a request for you. Rescue the heroes, right? Kosuke at this point recovered from his surprise and spoke. That's right, Nagumo, come with me and help them. Since you guys are so strong, you can save us, right? Kosuke looked at Hajime and Rimuru. Hajime just stood still and Rimuru looked at Hajime. Rimuru wanted to see what Hajime's response would be first. He was going to save the heroes anyway. But first he wanted to see Hajime's response. Endo didn't understand why none of them would respond and was indignant. What's wrong with you guys? They could be dying, aren't we your companions? Companions? This is going to be trouble? Hajime answered Kosuke in a cold tone and Rimuru already knew what was coming. Endo was a little startled by the cold response, but he didn't lose heart. He had to save his colleagues. Yes, it is natural for us to help. Don't make me your companion for your own convenience. I think of you only as people who came from the same world as me. What? Why? Hajime's cold words left Kosuke confused. Hajime thought nothing of his colleagues and had no interest in helping them. He only didn't refuse immediately because of the words Aiko said to him. She said she didn't want him to live a lonely life. The other reason was because he was waiting for his brother to say something. Hajime-kun. I think you should accept. Huh? Hajime was confused by Rimuru's words. He didn't say, I will accept, but that Hajime should accept. To the confused Hajime, Rimuru replied. You may not care about the hero group, but you do care about her, right? Ah. Hajime remembered the person who talked to him in the moonlight. Who spoke that she would protect him and tried to jump into the abyss together to save him. He gave a wry smile and spoke. Very well. We will save her. Ha ha ha. You can't escape my nose. Hajime-kun is still the same gentle boy inside. Dopan Hajime took a shot at Rimuru. Lore and Kosuke were startled by the loud noise. But Rimuru was unharmed and continued laughing. Tisk. One day I'll kill that cheating bastard. Endo, come on, guide us. Huh? Okay. He agreed and headed toward the door. Hajime kicked his butt and told him to hurry. Tio-san, could you look for Chloe and MYU and let them know? Yeah. I guess that's okay. Okay, thanks. Kosuke thought he heard a familiar name, but thought it must just be coincidence. There was no way the goddess could be in their group. Tio went to look for the two, and the rest of the group went to the hero's rescue. Filled circle, bam, the wall broke and several magic beasts entered. Get ready! Kuki shouted and all the students got ready to fight. Several magic beasts started to enter, all of them were like the ones controlled by the woman from the demon race. Did you guys think this hiding place would be enough? Behind the monsters was Catalya with a smug smile. The students' expressions were of fear and bitterness when they saw her. Sky interruption. Kaori and Suzu used a barrier to stop the monsters that were attacking. However, the barrier would not hold much because of the large amount of attackers. Kuki, use overcome limit and attack her, but we'll figure out a way to kill those magic beasts and you kill the demon woman. Kuki, don't worry, no one is going to die. We won't let them. Shizuku thought this was their best chance. If Catalya was killed, the magical beasts would be bewildered and would be defeated more easily. Kuki looked hesitant at Shizuku's idea, but she and Ryotaro reassured him. All right, here I come, overcome limit, he agreed and set off on Catalya. Sue, you have wasted too much of my time, I also have another mission. Shut up. I will surely defeat you, get ready. Kuki ordered Catalya to shut up and began to chant a spell that would clear the way between the two. Catalya gave a smile and ordered one of her monsters. The monster was holding someone and showed the person to Kuki. Meld-san. There was Meld extremely injured and agonizing. Catalya smiled seeing that her plan had worked. Meld told Kuki to kill the woman and Kuki accepted. Wait for me, I will save you Meld-san. Kuki set off on Catalya, but a huge shadow covered him. He didn't even have time to look away as he was thrown far away. Kuki crashed to the ground and looked at his attacker. He had a 10-foot muscular body and a horse's head. Kuki realized that this was no ordinary monster. Even with Kuki using overcome limit, the monster still threw him far away. Atad attack. War, Catalya commanded and Atad went at Kuki while screaming. He punched Kuki and Kuki used his sword to defend himself. What's with that thing? Kuki was forced to retreat and Atad attacked again. He kicked Kuki causing him to be thrown far away. Blua. He vomited blood and tried to get up, but received another punch. He managed to defend the blow, but was smashed against the wall. He let a groan of pain escape and tried to get up, but Atad gave him a punch that made him stop moving. Kuki could no longer react. He was badly bruised. Atad took him in his hand as if he were a doll. It can't be. Kuki was defeated. The students were scared and incredulous. As far as they knew, Kuki was invincible and no one could defeat him, but the reality was cruel. A voice came up in the silence that was the room. That's enough of that, I'm taking you with me, you demon. Meld shouted and crushed a crystal in his pocket. Meld's body began to glow with magical energy. As expected of the Knight Commander, devour Absid. Catalya looked impressed. This crystal was a self-destruct crystal. It was given to high-ranking members in case catches didn't have information removed by magic. However, the self-explosion didn't work because of the magic-sucking turtle. Absid absorbed the magic energy coming out of Meld and his body stopped glowing. Meld fell to the ground in a terrible state. So, you guys aren't going to join our side? I think that would be the best option right now, you guys. Meld-san. Catalya stopped talking. She did so because she felt a great pressure coming from Kuki. He muttered Meld's name, but it was audible to everyone. Kuki's eyes were glowing blankly and that made Catalya swallow dryly. Atad, kill him, she ordered, but Atad could do nothing as he was thrown hard toward the wall. Bitch! How dare you do that to Meld-san? Kuki was very powerful now. This was the skill derived from Overcome Limit, the Supreme Break. Kuki launched a blade of light that shattered all the monsters in its path and hit Catalya. She was thrown backwards and hit the wall. That sounds like a cheap drama. She spoke and held up her necklace. Catalya knew that even if Milo was here he wouldn't get here in time to save her. Kuki was too close and even a Lord Demon could not stop him before the attack. I love you, Mikahil. She spoke holding her necklace as she waited for imminent death. But death did not come. She looked up and there was Kuki who stopped his sword before it hit her. So you didn't even think of demons as people, right? What? I didn't. The reason Kuki stopped his sword was because he saw Catalya speaking the name of his beloved before he died. What Catalya said was also true. Kuki hadn't thought of demons as people until now, but when he saw the scene now he finally understood that he was about to commit murder. You think we're just monsters? Not me, let's just talk. Catalya realized that Milo was not going to interfere. He probably noticed that Kuki was not going to kill her and decided to leave everything to her. So Catalya was messing with Kuki's emotions until his burst of power was over. Atad, kill everyone. What? Why? We are at war. Have you forgotten? You are too powerful to be left alive. Wah! Kuki was thrown far away by Atad. He lost his strength from the ultimate break. To begin with, that skill had a much shorter time limit than the overcome limit and Kuki had already used it 2 times today, so Kuki only had a few seconds of strength left. Now that it was over, the heroes were screwed. Shizuku tried to tackle Otod, but was thrown far away and broke an arm. Shizuku-chan. Kaori ran towards her. Several monsters tried to attack her, but were stopped by barriers created by Suzu. Suzu thought that since they were going to die anyway, that at least the two friends could talk before they died. Kaori, come back. It's dangerous here. It's dangerous anywhere. I want to stay with Shizuku-chan in the end. Kaori. Shizuku accepted and hugged Kaori. The two had already accepted death, and Kaori had only one regret. Not having found Hajime. She thought she should at least say his name for the last time. Hajime. Tsuuuuuuuuuuuuu. A loud noise came from above and disintegrated the floor ceiling. A pillar of golden light hit Otod, who was about to kill Kaori and Shizuku, and disintegrated him. The two were stunned by the totally abnormal events and did not move a muscle. The dust settled and two boys stood in front of them. One of them had white hair and the other had long silver-blue hair. One of them was wearing a black overcoat and the other was wearing a blue jacket. The two of them looked back. You two are still good friends. Yes, they really are. Hajime spoke and Rimuru agreed with his words. Kaori and Shizuku both widened their eyes in surprise. Hajime-kun. Rimuru-kun.